it's Kim from Dorothy's Daughter. I'm a few minutes early. Thought I'd say hey. There's a couple people in there, so I thought, why not just jump in? I hope you're doing well. Today is Tuesday, but more importantly, it's 3 days until my vacation. Woo woo, I can't wait. Mexico, here I come. I'm going to the beach. All I need is a beach, the book, a book, but also the book, because I'll have my Bible too. The beach, a book, and listening to the waves, and maybe even a little drink with an umbrella in it. We'll see. So I'm looking forward to that very, very much. So how is everyone today? I'm going to go ahead and just for the purposes of people who come in later or just happen to stumble upon our video, I just want to say that this is Dorothy's Daughter. Excuse me, I am very dry already. I'm Kim, I'm Dorothy's daughter, and on this channel I do tutorials and pattern reviews and fabric hauls and you name it. We talk fabrics, and today we're going to talk a little bit about sewing with knits. So I'm here to answer your questions, and also if you guys have tips to share, that would be great. So I see some people are here, so let me get to the bottom of this. Hello, Lori. Nice to see you here. Hi, Brenda. Good to see you. And Chris. And Dee. Thank you very much. Hi, Lynn. Nice to see you here too. Hello, Chris. Good to see you. All right, so we got some more here. Kathy Ann, hi. Nice to see you here. And good. I'm glad you're doing well, Chris. And Verna's here. Hi, Verna. Nice to see you here. And Camilla. Nice to see you too, Camilla. All right, so we're going to talk about knits today a little bit. So I want to take your questions. So if you have a question, sometimes they can go by really fast, and since I do this on my own, if I miss one, please somebody call it to my attention. It helps if you put a Q in front of it, because I'll look for that as I go down, okay, and make sure that I can answer your questions. All right, first some water. I don't know why, but I am so dry, and it's like icky outside, rainy, muggy, probably 32 degrees, something like that. It's making me want to go to my vacation spot. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about knits is the different kinds and what you guys prefer to sew. How do you handle those curly seams? How do you handle just seams in general? What if you don't have a serger? I get that question a lot. So let's just start, throw your questions out, and we will see what kind of answers we can get. And I'll be happy to throw in some information in between things too. I grew up sewing knits. I learned knits before I really got the hang of wovens. My mom and I took stretch and sew, which is wonderful. I wish it was still around. It's a wonderful way to not be afraid of knits. And basically, after that class, I was not afraid of a knit at all. Hi, Gail. Nice to see you as well. Libby bought a serger. Yay. Any tips? Okay. Tip 1, don't be intimidated by threading it. It's very hard. Did you get a self-threaded or is it one you have to thread yourself? If it's air threaded, it's no big deal. But if you have to thread it yourself, it can be really tedious, but trust that you will it'll become a lot easier as you go along. So that's tip number 1. Don't be intimidated. Verna did stretch and sew also. I gotta show you. I have this book still. Well, it's not over there. I must have lent it to someone. But I have the stretch and sew book. It's got my mom's handwriting all through it. It's fantastic. It makes me just miss her so much when I see her handwriting and stuff like that. Okay. Yeah. I need to just turn this thing off, but I was waiting for an important message and I just got it, so we're good. You have to thread it. Okay, Libby, definitely don't be intimidated. You will be able to do it. It just takes a little patience to learn it. And another tip would be to take 4 colors of thread and put 4 or 1 in each one of the 4 threads, cone areas, whatever. Anyway, then you can see which one is the upper looper, which one is the lower looper, which each needle is. And then you'll be able to kind of get in your head, it's like when you're putting something in the upper looper, you'll know which one it is. Okay, so that's another tip, just right off the bat, if you do those 2 things. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to just get some scraps of some different fabrics, wovens, knits, thick knits, thin knits. Just go ahead and like serge them and see, does your seam ripple? So if it does, with that fabric and only that fabric, you can set your differential feed so that it doesn't wave it, and you'll see what I mean. If you go back and watch my one of my serging videos, I think I explained that pretty well. So go ahead and check that. But it basically, if you push it further through, if it feeds faster, then it's going to wave. If you spread it out, it's gonna like not do that ripply thing. So every fabric's different. So that's another thing you're going to want to do. Hi, Nancy. Oh, that's a great idea, Lynn. She pulls up the video for each time she needs to thread it. That's really smart. So, anyway, those are 2. And then just have fun. I mean, there are so many good classes online. Deb Canham, she has Canham Studios. She has a Facebook group. I went to one of her workshops at an expo, and she is amazing. She uses her serger to the nth degree. She even quilts on it. So you can check her videos out. She was very helpful to me as well. Yes, definitely. A workshop on using the serger is great. Definitely. A simple nanometers. Cool. Everybody's got different sergers. My first serger was only a 2-thread serger. It was like worthless, really. But it was on the back of my, I think I was telling you guys about that sewing machine last week. It was actually, my sewing machine was like this, and then you pulled a lever and flipped it around, and it was a serger on the other side. And but as a serger, it was crap. But the sewing machine was and still is amazing. It's a workhorse. Chris does the scrap testing, but every time I need to adjust, I'm probably still in the curve. After how many years? Yeah. I don't have to adjust. Oh, learning curve. Sorry, Chris. It was a little bit off screen. I thought you meant you didn't have to adjust it. Yeah, you have to. I get it backwards. You see how careful I was when I was talking about it. I get it backwards all the time. So, but all you have to do is play with the button, and you'll see it'll get right one way or the other. If one way makes it worse, then go the other way. You have a oh my goodness gracious! You have a Janome. That's wonderful. That's what I had for many years. one that I had to thread. Fantastic machine. But I now have the Juki air threaded one, but that's not one to begin with. That's one to, just start off with. I mean, that's one to work up to. Okay, guys, I officially have vacation brain. So my thoughts are like every other thought: beach, beach, beach. But anyway, I will calm myself down and have a productive chat. A wonderful day. Thank you, Venda. Spell check. Do you know me? You said it right. You said it right. Yeah. So, anyway, that's another thing. So, with your serger, try a simple t-shirt maybe as your first project so you can kind of get the hang of it. If you get tricky parts like putting in the sleeves or putting in the neckband, after a while you'll do them on your serger and it'll be like you could do it with your eyes closed. But in the beginning, I'd suggest still doing some of that on your sewing machine, just to have control, because sergers go fast and they cut. And you probably will do this because everybody does it at least once. Cut through something that you didn't want to cut through. You have to be really careful. What's going underneath the foot is going to get cut. So if you have a wrinkle here, like if you're sewing a seam and it's bulky and maybe it's gathers and one of them kind of comes out like this, it's going to get cut off. So you want to definitely sort of get good at that. Proceed slowly in the beginning and be really careful. Thank you. I'm so excited. We go to the same place every other year, and it's just a wonderful place. If you ever want to go to Mexico, I'd highly suggest checking out the Royal Sands, the Royal Resorts. There's 4 Royal Resorts, and I don't know about the other ones, but I think they're just as good. But the Royal Sands is amazing. It's beautiful. You can do all-inclusive if you want to, but there's so many good restaurants around there that we prefer to just that's part of our sightseeing, is going to any new restaurants that opened up. So it's pretty fun. Thank you. Okay, so any other questions before I'll sort of talk a little bit about knits if you want. Well, let's talk about what kind of knits you would use for a basic t-shirt. And the method behind my madness is that the next video that I put out is going to be on t-shirt patterns, and that's in preparation for the t-shirt embellishment that I've got coming up for while I'm gone. So I thought maybe we could talk about what kind of fabric you should have on hand if you want to make a t-shirt. So what are your favorite fabrics for making a t-shirt? Let's start there. Oh, yay. Actually, I don't. But as far as them sticking out, here's what I use. This is just nothing but knit interfacing. And you can buy it cut like this. It's called, what's it called? It's a stay tape, basically. All right. And you can buy those from Emma Seabrook. All right. Sokeezy is what she calls it. I knew it was a weird name and it was on my tongue. But anyway, I cut my own. I just get the interfacing that is a stretch, and I make sure that the stretch is going this way. And you can tell because if I pull this, it's going to curl. See? It curls. So Anyway, I cut them in 1-inch strips. When you get to the end, you just, overlap it and you're fusing it. And I put this in the hems. And then when I turn it up, it's got some body and it lays nicer. I put that in almost every t-shirt. Once in a while, if the fabric's real thick, I don't. But yeah. And I think the cover stitch is a little bit better with them sticking out. And I think what makes it stick out, though, is somehow you're stretching it as you sew. And that'll make it kind of ripply. So what you need to do is hands off. Don't pull on it. Just let it guide. Just guide it. If you pull at all, it's going to stretch and do one of these. So that's, I guess, a tip that I think is real good is if you just don't stretch it, because you'll get that. Cool. My cotton lycra is probably my favorite fabric to sew too. So the strips hold the stretch in. Well, kinda, I guess. It just gives it more body so that it doesn't. I mean, it'll still stretch, but it only when you want it to. If that makes sense. It kind of gives it some body to be able to hold those stitches and not stretch out of shape. It works. I just had a piece left from my Lincoln top. Ooh, it releases on Tuesday. Releases on Tuesday. And I made mine and I love it. I got these special buttons that I use for it. And I love, love, love it. It's going to be released on Tuesday. I'm going to be recording a video that will go coordinate with the release so you can see my review. And if you like it and you like my channel, you could maybe use the 10% off code from me, and I will get affiliate credit for that, and you will get 10% off. So that works out really well. Let's see. Oh wow, you got stabilizer at a yard sale. That's awesome. That's a 1 in a million. Viscose lycra is nice for drapey tops. I agree. The resort that I like is in Cancun, and it's right on the hotel zone, right there in Cancun. So, yeah, it's perfect. It's quiet, kind of in that resort anyway. It can be crazy on some of them, but that one is pretty much family oriented, and you got to get out there and get your lounge chairs early. The beach is nice, but the pool I think is better. And they do entertainment around the pool, and they do water aerobics every morning, which I think will be really good for my back if I can get out there. And yeah, so I'm excited about it. And I also think the sun is going to be really good for me with my back as well. So anyway, it's hard to think about anything else. My husband, he's gone to work today, and he said, "Man, it's so hard." He doesn't want to work. But you have to, or we can't go on these trips. So, anyway. Oh, here we go. Dee had a tip. Dee buys it by the yard when it's on sale, or when it's not on sale, a coupon. Good idea. I actually, if you're in the San Antonio area, wow, I really can't talk today. This is just their knit interfacing, and you can buy it. It's like $2 a yard, like really cheap. It's like a no-name brand, but it works really well. Just make sure it's knit. Yes, that is a great tip, Dee. Ooh, yes, Arlington's great in a sweater knit. This Lincoln, you guys, is just one of the coolest ones they've done. Just, I'm going to show you the buttons because it's my favorite thing about my top. I got these buttons on Etsy, and I was like, when am I ever going to use these? Well, I did. Let me show you how cool these are. I don't know if you can see those. I gotta get my face out. I was looking for a face to focus on. Well, anyway, you'll have to take my word for it. Oh, I can share the picture. That's what I'll do. One second. I think I can get the picture. I know it's here. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Let me get this littler here for you. How cool are those buttons? They're just amazing. I love them so much. So anyway, they're like really, they're wood and they have like this bohemian design on them. I love them so much. Thank you. I can't wait to show it to you. I'm almost, well, not really, but almost a little sad I won't be, online that day very much, but I'm going to have it all preset to go live. And you guys know if you order from Love Notions, you use Dorothy10, all capitalized, and you'll get 10% off. And that's always on anything, even on sale, even on Fridays. I'm behind here. Okay. Can the Lincoln be made out of medium or lightweight fabric? Medium. Lightweight, I mean, you could, I suppose, but then you might have to wear something under it, which I don't think you'd want to do that. I did mine in a cotton lycra, and I loved it. The only issue that I had is that with fitting the fit tests, you aren't supposed to do any alterations, or else they don't know how it's going. So I really needed a narrow shoulder adjustment. And I wasn't able to do it. So And you'll see, but I still love it anyway. I mean, I love the top I made anyway. 99% of the people who look at it are just going to go, oh, that's a cute top. They're not going to see the fact that I have a little extra right here, you know, but it's just what it is. That's how it is when we sew. We're extra picky. So, but I love it. But the next one I make will have a narrow shoulder adjustment. And I'll use the method that the first video that I did, where you actually take the neck size, you make that size in the neckline, and then starting at the arm side, you go to the larger size. That's it in a nutshell. There's a few more steps in between. So I used cotton lycra. And I also, I've seen a lot of people use like some sweaters, knit, lightweight sweater knit. Some people used waffle knit. Um, I had some waffle knit I might have used also, but I decided against that. I wanted these buttons to be the star. You know, they're just so cool, and I've got them in a bunch of different sizes. I was going to use these bigger ones, like this, but they wouldn't. It wouldn't have done enough coverage because they're real functioning buttons. So I would have had too much hanging out, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So, but I have so many of them from Amazon in 3 different sizes. So it's crazy, but really fun. So I wanted the buttons to star because when I bought these, I thought I'm never going to use these. I'll end up just using them on crafts. Well, I finally found a project that they're perfect on. So, yeah. All right. So, basically, for a simple T-shirt, then I would use a cotton lycra, rayon spandex, any jersey, but I would not use ponte or anything thicker like that. French terry, if it's a really thin French terry, you could do that. But things like sweatshirt fleece and scuba and ponte, does not make great T-shirts. Unless you're looking for like a 2-piece suit type thing where you don't have a lot of um, give, I guess. But for a general general idea, I would not use ponte. Did I mix the buttons, or were there 10 of them? They're all random, so I just used all random ones. I don't think that there probably are 10 alike in here. They're all different. That's the charm of them, I think. Tri-blend is nice. Yep, you can do that, especially if you want to do any sublimation. I bought some white 100% polyester because I want to sublimate on the shirts and I don't want to have to deal with the issue of the cotton, which you'll hear about in my second t-shirt video. So yeah, you know, whenever you add polyester, you're adding a little bit of longevity to the life of the garment. You're adding recovery, um, and you're adding uh, some drapeability sometimes. So I like having a little bit of polyester or lycra in there just for that reason. But I still like cotton. And cotton breathes. So if you're going, you know, if you live in a climate like Verna does, um, you definitely want to have some cotton or you're going to sweat all the time. Um, Double brush poly is a great fabric to use for t-shirts. Actually, that's what I'm wearing. This is a classic tee from Love Notions, which isn't a free pattern, but it's only $5 all the time, and actually it could be what, $4.40. I think. Yeah, it could be $4.40 with my discount, Dorothy 10. So yeah, almost free. There's a lot of free t-shirts out there. I'm going to cover a few of those. And yeah, a few like tried and true t-shirts and some free ones if you want to try them out. I love the everyday tee from Ellie and Mac. It's different. It's not the same as like the classic tee is what you think of when you think of a t-shirt. The Ellie and Mac one is kind of a dolman dropped, like a cap sleeve, like a grown-on sleeve is what they call them, and then it has a seam in the back which allows you to adjust for your sway back, which is really nice. So it kind of keeps the curve of the female body, which is really nice because so few patterns do that now. She has ITY in viscose, and it's a challenge as it is so light. Yes. A serger makes that easier. That's another thing. When you get your serger, that's another thing that will make it a lot. Those thinner knits like that just sail through. You can use to get a knit started that's really thin if you use a hump jumper just on the first couple of stitches. Then it'll just go right through on the sewing machine. That's probably one of my biggest tips for sewing with knits is to use a hump jumper as you're starting. Another thing is be careful ripping out because when you rip out you stretch and you can take away some of the recovery. So it's better to not cut out if you have a choice, or cut another piece if you have enough, or whatever, rather than rip out. Whenever you can possibly not rip out, it's better. Oh, good. Then that's a great one for you to do. Hi, Barbara. Thank you. This is from Zinks, the warehouse I go to in Indiana, and that's where this is double brush poly from there, and this is the classic tee. I didn't even put any jewelry on. It was like 3:45, and I'm like, oh, I gotta chat at 4. I guess I better go get ready. And I got my camera ready and everything, and didn't even put earrings on or anything. I'm super dry today. Aw, thank you, Louise. That's really sweet. You guys are so sweet. Would I use cotton lycra for the itch to stitch Hepburn top? Sure, except that I would use it for a mock neck, but I don't necessarily think I'd want to use it for a fold over. So I'm not sure. It's been a while since I saw that Hepburn. Let me look it up. Let me just look it up here. They have so many new ones. All the time. They do such a great job of keeping new patterns rolling all the time. Looking for it here. That Gothenburg is beautiful. Oh, one moment. One moment, guys. I gotta change a battery. Sure didn't last long today, did it? All right, sorry about that, you guys. I had to change my battery. So let me go ahead and finish looking at this It's Just Stitch. Find that pattern for you so I can see what we're talking about. Okay, so what they're showing here is kind of a scrunched neck. I think for that Hepburn, I think you would be better off with like a rayon spandex or something like that than cotton lycra, unless it's a super thin one. I hope that helps. My battery really didn't last any longer. Today it was only 30 minutes. I think I'm trying to rig up a way to do it on AC power, but I don't know. You have to put a dummy battery in there, and the problem is the door where the battery is right next to the tripod screw. So I'd have to take the door off of my camera, which I don't want to do. So I might buy a used camera for that, just for videos. Hi, Angela. Good to see you. Yes, it is a snap tool. It's a snap and rivet press. I love it. Amazon. It's just the no brand name or anything. They have the dies and yeah, it's really good. And I have, I don't know, 5 or 6 different rivet sizes and grommet sizes and snaps. So yeah, it works really great. Gail, today's been a not too bad day with my back, I will say. Um, it's been bad. I'm not gonna lie. I was leading worship, and after I was done with the second song, my husband and another gentleman had to help me off the stage because my legs went numb, completely numb. They were like, you know how if your leg goes to sleep and you get up, how it's just kind of jello. That's how both of my legs were after standing there for 2 songs. So obviously something needs to be done, but I'm trying to not live there and just try to enjoy the time that I'm sewing and getting ready for my trip. And I have to take frequent rest periods, but I'm just learning how to live with it right now because I can't get in until March 21st. So I don't know what they're going to do. Probably another surgery, maybe. I don't know, but we'll see. It is what it is. Oh, you know what? Chris, the Hepburn that I reviewed was different. It was the one from Patterns for Pirates, which is a little bit different. It's not, I guess it can be a turtleneck, but it's the dress that has this kind of neckline that I love. Um, that's a Hepburn, and that's the one I put a bra into. That one is also called the Hepburn, but it's not the Itch to Stitch one. It's Patterns for Pirates. Thank you so much, Angela. I cannot wait. Oh, good. That's great. Verna saw a cardigan online that she can't find. The maker was not familiar. It was the perfect thing I would add during our summer. Can you describe it? Okay, what is your very favorite knit to sew with? Um, and do you have any tips for roly-poly knits? Um, The only thing that I can give as advice there is to pin your seams vertically, like unroll it as much as you can and pin your seams. I don't usually use pins, but for that it's better than the clips. Just pin them vertically like this so that when they go, you can pull them out, but it'll help keep that open, and then you can still grab onto it and keep it open all the way down. It's hard. It really is hard. Rolling knits can get away like that. So I go slow, and I think vertical pins are the best answer that I've come up with for that. It's high hip, 3/4 loose sleeves, knit or woven. I mean the Harper from Sinclair has all those things. It has I don't think you can use a woven. Most cardigans are either or. Um, I don't know of any patterns for cardigans that are knit or woven. I think you got to stay in one camp there. Most of them are knits. No problem. I think so, but if it isn't, I'll go at it. I'll go at it, make sure it's there for sure. Probably be in the sewing room category because that's where I tend to put tools like that. I'm in Toledo, Ohio area, and the warehouse at Zinks, there's a couple of them. We could drive like 2.5 hours to Berlin, Ohio, which is between here, it's kind of east and south, so it's about 2.5 hours. And then Indiana is about an hour and 45 minutes. So the one in Indiana is in Ligonier, Indiana, which is not far from Angola. We generally would drive to Angola and spend the night and go to Fort Wayne to look at guitars and Zink's fabric outlet in Indiana. So that's our really fun time. Thank you, Gail, so much. I appreciate that. Roly-poly knits, clisps, and a serger. Okay, you did the opposite of me, kind of. But the clips, you have to put the clips so close together to keep it from, rolling. I feel like the vertical pins like kind of hang on to it a little longer. It's about the only thing that I must use pins for. The other thing is I was sort of sliding under the radar doing my quartering with the necklines and the knit neck bands and waistbands and stuff like that, and anything that you have to quarter. And when you use a clip, it's only as accurate within, what is that, 1/4 of an inch or more? So that's the accuracy, right? So, but with a pin, it's exact. So I went back to using pins for that. I was really like, never using pin again because I don't like to drop them on the floor. My dogs are in here, my grandkids are in here. So I have to be careful, is all. But I do use pins for that. Yeah, there's definitely glues you can use. I'm so like, I want to wear it as soon as I finish it. So I don't want anything that I have to wash out. I'm so lazy. Oh, what we're going to share that I missed. Do I have a separate snap applicator for plastic snaps? Yes, I do. It is on the clipboard back here, um, right underneath this hole puncher thing. It looks like the kind with the hand grip, but there is one that's just for the cam snaps. Cover stitch is better than twin needle for me for rolling hems. Oh yeah, definitely. Cover stitch is better in almost every case than twin needle. Ah, good point. Maybe on Craftsy. Did any of you guys get that Craftsy deal for $2 for a year? They had that. Some people got emails. I got one. I think Angela got one. We were trying to decide if it was for real and good, and it actually is. So we got Craftsy for a whole year for $3. So they might have that still going. Maybe it's posted online somewhere. Yep. All right. So, what are some other tips for knits that I like to share with people? Um, don't be scared of them, is one. And yes, you can sew knits on a regular sewing machine. I use a stitch that is a zigzag stitch. It's 0.5 and 3 for the length. You set your length to 3, you set your width to 0.5. When you're done, it looks like top stitching. Let's see if I've got anything on here that's cover stitch. It looks just like top stitching because it's only very narrow zigzag. And it, for the most part, will stretch. And I use that when I sew knits on a sewing machine. So it's possible. Even for top stitching around neckbands stuff, or um, sewing like a sleeve in or something, if I can't use a serger for some reason. Um, I I do hems with it, and those have to stretch a great deal. So I have no problem with using that, and it'll substitute a straight stitch any day. Ah, good point. Oh, good. Louise did. Good. Chris got hers too. Oh, Dee saw it on YouTube. Awesome. Yeah, that was a great deal. And I didn't, like, I saw it the last day or something, and I just grabbed it. So, um, and then just kind of making sure, whenever you get something like that, you kind of got to be like, oh, maybe not. And I looked at the, email address. That's what I do when I think it might be a scam. And usually then the email address will be like craftsy.offer@joeschmo or whatever, whatever the person's name is. So then no, it's not really coming from craftsy.com, but it was definitely craftsy.com that sold it. And I think I looked it up online, and it was on the up and up. So $3 for a whole year. And they've got some great classes on there. Yes, the old content is still available. Oh, you saw it today, Dee. Awesome. So do you have a link by any chance that you could share with everybody? That would be great. All right. Let's see what time it is. I can't go over 5 today. My hubby has a meeting, and I need to get dinner in time for him to go to his meeting. Life. That's how life is, right? Everybody so busy these days. So I'm sewing my granddaughter's beautiful costume for Hello Dolly tonight. I'm going to use the geranium dress in the 9 to 12 sizes and make it longer. Yep, that's the book I have, I think. Oh, wait a minute. No, no stick figure. But I do have this one. Stretch and Sew Sewing Book Part 1. It's amazing. My mom's, there's Dorothy's handwriting, guys. Her notes on there. Self trim is 1-to-1 ratio. Stretch when you go across the back. Ribbing stretch slightly. Oh my goodness. She really must have been interested in this one. Neat. So I have a bunch of these patterns still too. I have the ones I bought, plus I have the ones she bought. Tons. I have some of the kids' ones. And yeah, I did that when I was in like junior high. So long time ago. Pardon me. Sorry about that. Yeah, so those are the things I guess I want to say about knits. Do have a whole video on that as well from earlier on in the channel. Um, Basically, how do you tell the right side of a knit? It usually curls toward the right side. So if you're not sure, you can do that. Some of them are obvious, some of them are not. And there are some knits that the stretch is actually in the other direction. So you want to pay attention, especially to stretch wovens. Bengaline is one that is sometimes that way, especially the one that Hobby Lobby definitely is that way. Some stretch, like stretch denim, can be like that. And I did have some cotton lycra like that as well. But when you have a four-way stretch, um, it doesn't matter that much because you have as much stretch in any direction. Like this is a four-way, and it probably doesn't really matter which way you lay it out. So, I mean, if you were able to get more pieces in by doing it sideways, you probably could get away with doing that because it's the same amount of stretch in both directions. Tips for double brush polyester. Well, it's wonderful. It's hot to wear sometimes, but it sews like a dream. It tends to want to, when you start a seam, it tends to want to get sucked down into the throat plate. So you want to definitely use either, you know, piece of something folded up behind or use a hump jumper to get it going, and then you won't have that issue. Um, Definitely, Serger's fantastic on that fabric. It's a super easy fabric to sew. It's really good. It's resistant to runs or anything like that. Great fabric. It's a great beginning fabric to start with because it's very forgiving. It has four-way stretch, and yeah, I love it. The one thing though, in the summertime, it is kind of hot. Just just so you know, if that bothers you, you might, if you're having hot flashes and stuff, you might want to, be careful of that. Oh, awesome. Chris called them and they explained how to do it. Awesome. The book was written before that one. Okay, cool. Share a picture. Fusible knit interfacing on hems. Yep, definitely. That does help as well. Um, I've never put in an interfacing on the neckband, but if you could do that. Um, I haven't needed to, but that doesn't mean it wouldn't help. It could help a lot, actually. I learned from her classes. I did too. You got rid of them? Oh. Hi, Mary Alice. It's good you're here, even if it's only for a few minutes. But you can. We've been talking about knits a little bit and life, but I'm trying to make these worth someone's time to watch back. So I'm trying to keep the atmosphere of sewing questions always to the forefront, even though we're all good friends, and we, want to share that part of our lives too. But um, I'm thinking of that person who might just run across it and think, oh, this is nothing channel. So I don't want to do that. We really do have some informative stuff on this channel. So I want people to know that. I did too, a lot. When I started on my own without under my mom's wing, right? I always sewed with my mom, with her overlooking, with her helping me if I got stuff, just great. And then when I got married, I sort of started that learning process on my own. And I was not ever afraid of knits. And everybody tends to be. But this is why that stretch and sew, and I wish it was still around. So it was a really good course. Definitely. And there's so many more knits out there now that that would be so valuable if somebody would do that again. I think it would be really good. The knit interfaces is only on the short seam of the neckband, so it doesn't. Oh, okay. Get stuck into your machine. Okay. I actually just use a hump jumper to get it started if I do it on the machine, but mostly I just do it on the serger, and it tends to be okay for me. But oh, yes, ma'am. When I get it done, I will send you a picture. It's just gonna be a purple dress and with a sash. It's for Hello Dolly, so she's just one of the chorus people. That's for my littlest granddaughter, and then I have other costumes to add a little bit of lace to because the girl's too tall, and add that kind of stuff. Add a fix a zipper, you know, all those things. So I'll be doing that stuff as well. My older two, I think they had costumes already that would fit them. So 3 of my granddaughters are in the production. So it's going to be March 31st, April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. But I will take pictures, preferably with her in it. Remember last year I did those tongues of fire because they did Axe, A City Rising, and my granddaughters were tongues of fire. So I did those streamers and all that last year. I think I shared it with you guys then. All right, well, it's close to 5, and I'm going to have to get going. Does anybody have questions before I go? Louise, I used to learn to sew watching a woman named Louise way back in the 60s. I still have her books. Oh, that's so cool. Huh. I like Nancy. She was amazing. Um, she just died recently, but I used to watch her show on PBS faithfully. Susanna called Craftsy and they're sending her the link. Awesome. Well, that's good to know. So hopefully that was, maybe some of you are going to be able to get that deal. And I'm sorry I didn't share it sooner. I didn't know if it was for everyone or if just old members got it or what the deal was. So I had stopped it when my husband was laid off, and I thought maybe that was just an offer to like entice me back. But it wasn't. I guess it was for anyone. I try, but there, I try to be a good grandma. I think that hopefully their memories of me will be that I always wanted to do things not just for them but with them. We went to the Newsboys concert. That was her birthday gift. My 14-year-old granddaughter, my husband and I took her to see the Newsboys, and she got to meet them after, and it was so cool. So, um, yeah, it was Newsboys, Danny Goki, and Mac Powell. So Mac Powell was my favorite. I bought a T-shirt. Um, I loved Third Day for so many years. So he was my favorite performer that night. But I love the Newsboys. We went to see them decades ago. In fact, when we met them, I told Michael Tate, I said, I've been listening to you for decades. And he said, stop, I'm not that old. I'm like, yes, you are. Bye, Dee. Thank you so much. Bye, Lynn. Thank you so much, Louise. All right, so I guess I'm going to be signing off for now, and we can keep this discussion about knits going on the Facebook group. If you don't know, if you're not a member of our Facebook group, just go to Dorothy's Daughter Community on Facebook, and you can just ask to join, and it's just a simple, few simple questions. As long as you answer a couple of them, no problem. I have some people who don't answer them, and then I don't know if it's a bot. That's the only thing. So it's not like we're trying to weed out people. We just want to make sure that it's real people. So just give me a couple answers so I know you're not a robot. Oh, thank you so much, Kathy Ann. That just really means the world to me. It really does. That's what I want. That's what I want more than anything, is to help somebody try things, try something new, learn a new skill. You too, Verna. I needed that today. Thank you so much. Yeah, I love Third Day. Kathy Ann, that comment means the world to me. So thank you, thank you. And I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will be in at least one more video this week, and then there'll be some saved up. So I will see you soon, and I'll pop in on the Facebook group or something with a couple of pictures while we're gone. So take care, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.